Ladies and gentlemen, members of the National Assembly, authorities, and citizens listening to us today. We are not here only to talk about numbers, rules, or single projects. We are here to reflect together on the Ecuador we are today and the Ecuador we want for the future. Our country has great cultural, historical, and natural richness, but it also faces strong inequalities and important problems that cannot be ignored. Talking about making Ecuador a better place is not just a political phrase, it's a shared responsibility. Real change does not happen with quick answers. It needs planning, dialogue, and decisions that think about the long term and about the real needs of the people. Ecuador faces many challenges. These challenges appear in the economy, education, security, health, work, and access to opportunities. These problems are connected to each other. Because of this, change must be approached in a complete and responsible way. Making Ecuador better it is also means rebuilding trust in public institutions, trust in justice, trust that the law is fair and equal for everyone. Without trust, there is no unity. Without unity, there is no strong and lasting development. It also means respecting diversity. Ecuador is made of many regions, cultures, and communities. Each one has its own reality and needs. This diversity is a strength. A democratic country must listen to all voices and include everyone in its future. A better Ecuador means real opportunities. Opportunities for children, young people, and adults. For people in cities and in rural areas, for those who have always had power, and for those who have been excluded. A country cannot truly grow it if progress is only for a few. We must also think about the future. The decisions we make today will affect the next generations. Development must go together with care for the environment. Responsible is the use of resources and respect for human dignity. This introduction does not give final answers. Its goal is to open a space for reflection and discussion about the changes Ecuador needs and how to achieve them in a fair and transparent way. With these words, we begin a shared reflection. From this point, from this point, from this point on, my classmates, all of us, will continue by presenting specific topics and ideas that build on this vision. This is not the end of a speech, but the beginning of a group effort to think together about how to make Ecuador a better place.
Madam President, fellow legislators, and citizens of Ecuador watching today, I stand before you to speak about crisis that affects the daily lives of million Ecuadorians. We often debate macroeconomics and international treaties in this chamber, but today I want to talk about the reality on the asphalt. I want you to talk about the simple yet increasingly impossible act of getting from point A to point B in our country. The state of our public transportation is not just an inconvenience, it's a national embarrassment. For an average worker, the student, and the mother traveling with her child, the morning commute has become an exercise in suffering. We're forcing our people into units that are mechanically unsound, dirty, and falling apart. The facilities that the bus stops and terminals are often abandoned, lacking lighting, lacking security, and lacking basic dignity. We're asking our citizens to pay for a service that treats them like cargo, not like human beings. But, Madam President, discomfort is a list of our problems. The true crisis is that public transportation has become a debt trap. We cannot ignore the headlines. We cannot ignore the testimonies of our constituents taking a bus in Guayaquil, in Quevedo, in Manta, in Jipijapa, in Quito. I don't know. I can name like 25 cities. It's really dangerous. Or right here in the outskirts of our capital has become a game of a Russian roulette. We can find everything that makes us feel in danger or makes us have fear. The rate of armed robbery, assault, and extortion in public transportation is something really terrifying. Students are afraid to carry their laptops to university. I can speak by my brother. Workers hide their watches in their socks. The fear is palpable, and the only ones who don't feel it is the people that are around us, right here in the assembly. When a bus stops in a dark sector, every passenger holds their breath, wondering if this is the moment they will lose their phone, their wallet, or God forbid, their life. We have normalized terror in our daily day, and this is really unacceptable. Now, consider the outside world looking in. We speak constantly of boosting tourism, of showing the world how beauty the Amazon, the Andes, and the Galapagos Island, but how can we invite the world here if a tourist cannot safely navigate in our cities? For a visitor, our transport system is not just confusing, it is hostile. There is no reliability, no clear information, and the threat of crime is a massive problem. We are losing millions in potential revenue just because we cannot guarantee the basic safety of a movement. However, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We have seen what it is possible. Look at the Quito Metro. Despite the delays and the political hurdles it faced, it is now a reality. It is modern, it is efficient, and it has changed the dynamic of the capital. It proves that Ecuador is capable of high level infrastructure. It is time to look at the Pearl of the Pacific. It is time to look at Guayaquil. Guayaquil is the economic engine of this nation. It's a dense, bustling metropolis that is currently suffocating under traffic and violence. The current systems in Guayaquil are overwhelmed and the Metrovia is saturated. I propose that this assembly, in coordination with the executives and local governments, declares it a national priority to replicate the Quito Metro model here in Guayaquil. We need a modern underground or elevated rail system for the main port, a system that can secure the people's security in this case, where cameras and police presence are constant, a system that restores dignity to the Guayaquileño, or a train system that is just not about speed. It is about social equity, and it connects poor neighborhoods to business centers safely. In conclusion, fellow legislators, let us stop putting band-aids on a broken limb. Let us invest in a major infrastructure that ensures safety for our people. Let us build a transport system that does not scare our tourists. On the contrary, welcomes them. And most importantly, let us build a system where a student can go to class without the fear of never making it home. Thank you.
Honorable members of Equatorial Assembly, today I want to talk about something that affects all of us. The topic is the security. The security will be a better place to live if people feel safe every day. When people are afraid to leave their homes, go to work, or walk on their neighbors, the whole culture suffers. First, I want to speak about the reduction of crime. The crime, which I say my partner, the crime has increased in a lot of parts of Ecuador. Like talk an example for that is Guayaquil, Quito, Cuenca, Salinas, and another cities of my other country. And this creates fears and stress among cities. To reduce delinquency, we must focus on prevention. We need to focus on education, job opportunities, and social programs that are very important, especially for the young people. When the young people have a future, they are less likely to choose crime. Reducing the crime is not only about punishment, it's also about giving people better options. Now, let's move to my second point, that is increase the police patrol. More police patrol offers the street can make a big difference. Visual patrol has to prevent crimes and give people a sense of safety. Citizens feel more confident when they see the police near their homes and public space. For this reason, police officers must prepare training, a good equipment, and fair working conditions, and they can protect the society in an effective way. Finally, I want to talk about the stronger laws and stricter justice. Laws be much clear and applied equal to everyone. If criminal knows there are serious consequences, not only have a situation that have one day of the prison and the next day go out, they will think that twice before committing a crime. Well, at the same time, the justice citizens must work quickly and honestly when there is input in security grounds and people lose truth in the system. Well, these points can be found about to how be a better Ecuador of that. And finally, to conclude, uh, Ecuador can become a better place to live if becomes a safer country. Reducing crimes, increase police patrol, and applying stricter law are essential steps to achieve this goal. Security does not a privilege, is a right for every Ecuadorian citizen. So well, uh, thank you for much for your attention.
Hello, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I would like to talk about how Ecuador can truly change and improve as a country. Many solutions are often proposed economic reforms, political change, or new laws. However, I firmly believe that the most powerful and sustainable path to transformation is education. Education is not just a sector of society, it is the foundation of which every other aspect of national development is built. To begin with,
Ecuador faces several educational challenges. One of the most evident problems is that our system is still largely based on traditional teaching methods. In many classrooms, students are expected to memorize information rather than understand it. This approach limits creativity and discourages curiosity, two essential elements for personal and social growth. Another major challenge is inequality. Access to quality education in Ecuador often depends on geographical location and economic status. Students in rural areas or public institutions frequently lack educated infrastructure, technology, and trained teachers. As a result, education does not offer the same opportunities to all citizens, reinforcing social and economic gaps. Finally, we must reflect on the concept of quality in education. Quality education should go beyond exams and grades. It should develop analytical thinking, communication skills, and ethical values. When education focuses only on memorization, students are not prepared to face real-world problems or make informed decisions. Education plays a crucial role in shaping responsible citizens. An educational system that promotes critical thinking helps individuals question misinformation, understand social issues, and participate actively in democratic processes. A society that thinks critical is less vulnerable to corruption and manipulation. Moreover, education has a direct impact on employment and economic growth. Many graduates struggle to enter the labor market because their education does not align with practical and professional demands. By connecting education with the real skills and problem-solving abilities, Ecuador can create workforce that is most competitive and adaptable. Innovation is another area strongly linked to education. Ecuador has talented young people, but innovation is limited when creativity is not encouraged in schools and universities. Education should promote research, technological development, and entrepreneurship, allowing students to become creators of solutions rather than passive consumers. Looking to the future, education must be treated as a long-term national priority. Educational policies should not change with every government. Sustainable progress requires consistent investment, continuous teacher training, and stable educational strategies that transcend political cycles. Education also has the power to transform culture. Through education, values such as respect, responsibility, tolerance, and social commitment can be strengthened. Laws alone cannot change a country. Educate citizens with strong values can. Finally, improving education is a shared responsibility. Governments, institutions, teachers, families, and students all play an essential role. When society understands that education is an investment rather than expense, meaningful change becomes possible. In conclusion, if Ecuador truly wants to change, its most investment in education with vision, commitment, and passions. Education may not offer immediate results, but it's the most reliable path toward a fairer, stronger, and more prosperous nation. Thank you.
Thank you.